Just before his big meeting with Chinese leader Xi Jinping yesterday, Donald Trump made, I guess you could call it a surprise announcement. Posting, quote, "I've instructed the Department of War to start testing our nuclear weapons on an equal basis. That process will begin immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter." There you go. Just a totally normal president talking about nuclear weapons in a totally normal way. And what could go wrong? This announcement really came out of nowhere, and it's not even clear what kind of nuclear tests he means or why it's so urgent to do them now. And when reporters tried to get some clarity from the president, he only made things much more confusing.
They seem to all be nuclear testing. We have more nuclear weapons than anybody. We don't do testing. We've halted it many years ago. But with others doing testing, I think it's appropriate that we do also.
Others are testing? Like who? We don't really have any idea what he's talking about because the other nuclear superpowers, Russia and China, have not detonated a live nuclear weapon since the 1990s. America itself has not detonated one since 1992, which is 33 years ago. So it's really unclear what exactly is motivating Donald Trump to do this right now, to put out that statement last night. What is notable, and might not be a coincidence, that it comes just after the streaming service Netflix released a provocative new movie on this very subject.
Stratcom is asking for launch instructions right now. I'm gonna need you to breathe.
We are talking about hitting a bullet with a bullet.
So it's a f***ing coin toss? That's what $50 billion buys us?
Get in the car and just start driving.
If we do not take steps to neutralize our enemies now, we will lose our window to do so.
So that's the trailer for the Netflix movie House of Dynamite, which portrays a nightmare scenario in which the United States is revealed to be far more vulnerable to a nuclear attack than many would like to believe. That movie is, of course, a work of fiction. And yet the Pentagon was reportedly so anxious over that film, they issued an internal memo arguing all the ways that the doomsday scenario depicted in the movie isn't accurate. So clearly that movie struck a nerve inside the Trump administration. Could it have gotten under Trump's skin, too? Could it have prompted, let's say, a surprise announcement post about resuming nuclear tests? We don't know. What we do know is that the whole point of having a nuclear arsenal is deterrence. Our nuclear strike capacity is what ensures that America's enemies think twice before taking action against us. And yet today, Vice President J.D. Vance seems so intent on justifying the need for nuclear tests, the ones his boss announced he wants to do, so determined to defend Trump's decision that he actually suggested that America's nuclear weapons may not be functioning properly.
I think the president's truth speaks for itself. We have a big arsenal, obviously. The Russians have a large nuclear arsenal. The Chinese have a large nuclear arsenal. Sometimes you've got to test it to make sure that it's functioning and working properly.
Wait a minute. You're not sure that it's functioning properly? The last thing any member of any administration should do is cast doubt on America's nuclear capability. But that's exactly what the vice president just seemed to do. And Vance seemed to realize that in real time, because just a second later, he walked it back.
To be clear, we know that it does work properly, but you got to keep on top of it over time.
OK, so now our nuclear arsenal does work properly. OK, that was all in one statement. Look, we have no legitimate reason to believe that there are any problems with America's nuclear capacity. Even the vice president walked his earlier statement back. But we have every reason to question how seriously this administration takes its responsibility when it comes to nukes. Remember, this is the same president who accidentally fired and then had to rehire all the members of the agency that oversees the safety of nuclear warheads in this country, and then furloughed more than 1,000 workers from another nuclear safety agency during the government shutdown. We don't know why Donald Trump decided to announce he was resuming tests of America's nuclear arsenal. We don't know what kind of tests he wants to carry out. And frankly, I'm not entirely sure he does either. But let's not forget, this is the same guy who said during his first term he wanted to literally nuke a hurricane. According to Axios, he brought up that idea on multiple occasions. It doesn't inspire a whole lot of confidence in his judgment or his comprehension of one of the most important responsibilities of the presidency. So Trump may think he sounds strong and powerful when he talks about testing nuclear weapons, but to everyone else, he sounds not only reckless, but like he doesn't really have a clue how any of this works. or that's my assessment. Joining me now is Lieutenant General Mark Hertling, a 37-year Army veteran who served as commanding general of U.S. Army Europe. He's the author of the upcoming book, If I Don't Return, A Father's Wartime Journal. Let me just start by asking you, I just want to talk about kind of the risks here. I mean, the publication, The Scientific American, spoke to a nuclear expert who explained that the U.S. has other ways, of course, of testing our arsenal without exploding an actual bomb. I mean, we haven't done this in decades. He warned that the only countries that will really learn more if testing resumes are Russia and, to a much greater extent, China. I thought this was really an interesting assessment, or interesting flag, I guess, one of our producers shared. What kind of sort of data could Russia and China glean here if Trump did move forward with conducting explosive tests?
Well, like you said earlier, Jen, there's a lot of potential advantages and disadvantages to this. And like you, my jaw dropped when I first heard him say it, especially 5 minutes before he met with President Xi. But, you know, you could say that, as you mentioned earlier in the show, we haven't conducted a test since '92, and that's because the nuclear force normally relies on simulations and subcritical tests. But they do it all the time. There is an aging fleet, as Vice President Vance implied, but not that old, and they're capable and accurate. But I think this movie has maybe caused some people to wonder exactly what the condition of the fleet is and how it would be executed. But to get to your question, a test would certainly trigger more reciprocal testing and arms buildup from places like Russia, China, India, Pakistan. I mean, name the nuclear power. And Russia has been threatening the use of nuclear weapons since 2022 when they invaded Crimea, or Ukraine as a whole. But, you know, even an underground test would have, it would leak radioactive material. It would be extremely expensive, and our foes could gather a great deal from that. So just announcing that they were going to do testing before a plan was in place, in my view, is not a very good strategy. These things, if you're concerned about the nuclear fleet, as it appears President Trump is, you say to your aides, hey, let's take a look at what we're doing and how we're doing it, so we don't have the confusion that was portrayed in that movie, and we don't basically message to our foes what we're doing so they can watch what we're doing and see the condition of our fleet. So good questions. And I'm not sure why this is happening. It seems a little bit strange to me right now.
Very strange. And to your point, Dmitry Peskov, who's one of the President Putin's longtime aides, sort of suggested that they would test in response. He did that in the last 24 hours. I want to play for you what Speaker Mike Johnson said in reaction to Trump's decision today, because I think all of this is creating a lot of confusion out there. Let's play that.
I haven't spoken to the president in about 48 hours, so I did not know he was going to say that, but I think it is an important thing for him to have said. Why? Because we have demonstrated, even in recent days, that the only way to maintain peace is to show strength.
I wanted to play this because you have been in a position, you were in a position for many years at a very high level of the military, and it feels like testing of nuclear weapons is not actually showing peace through strength. It feels like it's doing something quite different from that. But what did you think of his comments? Yeah,
that's the first time I've heard that comment, and it's quite frankly kind of blowing me away, because for him to say that publicly, I mean, if you have doubts about the nuclear program, then this is something that you would bring the STRATCOM commander and others who are dealing with nuclear weapons into Congress and provide oversight. But it seems Speaker Johnson has been surprised by a lot of things the president has said in an ad hoc manner. And it just is not appropriate, I think, for him to say those kind of things. And it's certainly, testing of a nuclear weapon doesn't deliver the message of peace through strength. It creates a message that you're doubting your nuclear capability, and you're also trying to show the world that you've got a little bit of swagger, which is never a good thing used in the military.
And it could set off a chain of events, as you already alluded to, which is certainly never the goal of any United States leader, Republican or Democrat, or it hasn't been. Lieutenant General Mark Hertling, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Jim.